but I've always been a rep guy at practice more than time. A lot of times we get our reps and there's still time on the clock and I blow it. I've always been more in tune to that. But it's hard to prepare for because of how you have to practice. Now, fortunately, we're a tempo team. I don't know what they are. They're a lightning team. We're a up tempo team, no huddle. There's a lot of times they ain't even set and the ball's being snapped. It's unbelievable. But they're just really, really fast. So to simulate that, it takes you got to practice a certain way. Our scout team has to do an unbelievable job to kind of get our guys ready. But yeah, you got to be smart. And we're fortunate that we're one of those teams that has some depth. Teams that don't have much depth, they may have a bunch of negative plays, but then all of a sudden it's 50. 0, 1, 1, 2, 15. And then next thing you know, you look up and like, dadgum, they've run 90 plays. So our depth will have to come through for us in this ball game. And our crowd and the noise that we create here at Death Valley, I think is a factor too, because you still got to communicate, and hopefully our noise will help us a little bit, maybe slow them down a little bit from a communication standpoint.
There's a bunch of focus on the quarterback battle, but are there any other positions that are kind of week to week? You're not really sure who's going to start until leading up to the game. Are there any of those positions?
Yeah. I mean, we all seen it at guard. I mean, we've had a nice little battle with Cade Stewart and Pollard. That's been a great battle, and both those guys are playing. It's made us better because their antennas are up every day. And Cade he's kind of him and Gage, same thing. Him and Gage are kind of our 6th and 7th man, if you will, and really proud of those guys. So we got a lot of competition there. We got competition at linebacker. We got competition at wideout, and obviously at quarterback there. We got, I think Feaster's made a move, and he's a guy that's showing that, hey, don't forget about me. I'm pretty good. I can make some plays here. So we've got good, healthy competition going on. And again, some of these positions, it's pretty close, and you're going to play multiple guys. And so, yeah, it might be this guy had a bad game, this guy played better. Well, hey, he goes up for the week. But I think for the most part, I think Nolan Turner is a guy that's really a guy that's competing for more. Really encouraged by what we've seen with him.
Sounds like oversimplify it, but with all the positions, the quarterback jumps out at you. I mean, does it come down to just asking the question, who can we win the national title? When it comes to a quarterback decision, who can we win that biggest prize because you're at where you are right now?
Our goal is not to win the national title. I know that's everybody else's goal. Our goal is to win the division. Our goal is to beat Syracuse, and that's never been a goal. That's a byproduct of what can happen if you take care of your goals that we have. And so I will say this: we can win the national championship. If the good Lord blessed us and we stayed healthy and everything went, these two quarterbacks we got are good enough to beat anybody on any given day. And everybody wants to put last year's Sugar Bowl and Kelly Bryant, and they don't have a clue what they're watching. They have no idea. They don't understand what happened in the game, the flow of the game, the circumstances of the game. They have no clue. It's just like, oh, Kelly Bryant. And that is such a bad narrative, and it is so far from reality, it's not even funny. It really isn't. And so now it's, oh, Kelly can't win the national. Give me a break. That kid can beat anybody any given day, no doubt about it.
Sounds like from what your coordinators have said, Dab, and what you've said, that with Feaster coming through the knee procedure and then Travis's ascension and being dropped in the depth chart, that you guys are really completely pleased with the way he's kind of navigated those rough waters.
He's responded. And, I mean, he's a very talented player. We all know that. But his sense of urgency is the best it's ever been. And you just see a little hunger in him. I really, really like what I'm seeing out of Feaster. And we need that, and that's kind of been my thing coming into this season. I really felt like our backs would be as good as we've had, and I think they have been. I think we're in a really good situation at running back, and they're complementing each other well. We've got a good rotation. These guys, they take care of each other. We still got to get Lynn J, a little bit more, close the gap a little bit from a dependability standpoint and a discipline standpoint on what he's supposed to do. But he's as talented as any of them. But he's just not as complete a player right now.
Dabo, we were told that both quarterbacks will be off limits this week to interviews after the game. What's the reasoning there?
Just give them a break. I mean, these are kids. And, I knew it was going to be an emotional couple days. And it's just one less thing they got to deal with this week. They've been available every week. We make our guy, some of y'all need to go work somewhere else. Y'all realize real quick the grass ain't greener. We probably make our players more available. I'm accessible. And I let you guys talk to my coordinators. It's not that way everywhere, and so that's just my right, and that's, I wanted to protect those two guys. They can handle themselves just fine, but it's just one less thing that they have to deal with, so they'll be available after the game, and we'll move on, but y'all have all been young people. I mean, we've all been young people in our lives, and sometimes when you're disappointed, it takes you a little while to kind of, get your breath and realize that this isn't the worst thing that's going to happen in your life, and you know what, let's move forward. And so I just felt like it was best for both of those guys to not have to deal with all the drama that would come. And for y'all doing your job. I mean, that's just your job, and it's what y'all are supposed to do. But I just felt like it was the right thing to just take that off, not burden them with that too. And let's move forward and give them a couple days to move on, and we'll go from there.
Coach, I know you touched on Skowski the other night, but just to clarify, and you lost Kendall Joseph, so you brought Skowski in the first half. Would you like to be able to save those 3 more games that he's got with the red shirt rule for later in the season? Yeah, I would like to, but we got to do whatever we got to do to win the game we're playing. And so, again, we reserve that right week in and week out. But we felt like last week we were going to need him. And we felt like it was an easy game for him to get ready to play in. And so that's why we did that. So we ideally, yes, our whole objective is to try to get a year back for him. We think he's an elite football player, and we really want to get a year back. And he'd like to do that. But, at the end of the day, we got to do what's best for the team. So it could change. Hopefully it works out the way we all want it to. But it's really kind of a week-to-week basis.
Can you give some insight into how hard it is to get calls in and to get set, not just against their tempo, but when they show tempo, stop, and then you're adjusting, and then they snap it while you're going to a different
Yeah. Well, we're a no-huddle defense, first of all. So we never huddle on defense. So that makes it easier for us. And our calls are easy. We don't have, red left slot, sprint right, option, Z curl, funky Cole Medina. We don't have that, I mean, we don't have calls like that. I don't know where that came from. That was a great song, though. Is that Tone Loc?
Yes.
Yeah, Tone Loc. Anyway, we don't have calls like that. So it's not like, we're all huddled up and, oh, crap. We're no huddle all the time. And we have easy calls that we signal. And so the biggest thing is we have to do a great job of giving them the call. And the whole purpose of that is to try to make you simplify and not be able to be as elaborate as you'd like to be, not be able to disguise as much, not be able to sub like you'd like to. That's really the whole purpose of that. And so you got to get the call in, make sure you got a kind of a catch-all call, because they may come out in something crazy. You got to have some base rules. But again, we're no huddle and up-tempo defense, so we know what we got to do. But we've got to make sure that we give it to them, and then they'll hurry up, and then they look over. And then the other thing they do a great job is they do a great job with their hard count. There was a situation in the game last year. I mean, it's 3rd and 15. Dadgum, they're hurrying up. Boom, hard count. We jump offside. 3rd and 10, they end up getting it, and wouldn't have got it. So you just have to be very disciplined, and you got to key the ball and get lined up, key the ball, because when the ball snaps, that's when the game is played, and you can't get distracted by all the stuff they're trying to create distractions with. So it's a challenge for sure, but we play them. I mean, how long has Dino been there? Is this his 3rd year? So this is 3rd year. I mean, so we're figuring it out.
Playing Syracuse every year, how have you seen them evolve from 2016 to now?
One more time.
Playing Syracuse for 3 years in a row, how have you seen them evolve from 2016?
Oh man, well they're 4-0. They're 4-0, and they're undefeated in this division. So I'd say that Dino's done a great job of trying to build a good culture. I think he's recruited some guys in there, especially in the trenches, that are giving them more of a chance to compete and be more consistent. I mean, I can't imagine that when it's all said and done that this isn't going to be their best team in their best year since he's been there. I don't remember what he did his first year. What did they do their first year? I don't know. They won 4 games. Well, he's gonna beat that. If that's last year, they didn't. I mean, they win. Maybe 3 or 4. This will be their best team. I think it's his best team. So I think he's been built into this. Really like Dino. I think he's a heck of a coach. He's a great energy guy. I think his team responds to his personality, and he's got a good coaching staff. But I think he knows the fit at Syracuse, and he's got some good pieces in there, and they have an identity. I think you got to have an identity too. I think they know who they are, and they recruit to that and stay true to that. And I think that this is the best team we've seen in his 3 years.
You alluded to it a little bit with the Skalski answer, but how is your team health-wise, and do you think you'll get Kendall back this week?
Yeah, I do. He's back in practice today. He practiced last night, and he's a full go today too. So hopefully we won't have any setbacks or anything like that. And Trey, same thing. He was a little banged up, but he's back in there as well. So we're in a good spot, team-wise. But as y'all know, crazy things can happen. I mean, I don't know till Thursday that I don't have Kendall Joseph, and I'm like, holy cow! So anything can happen when you're going out there and you're in pads on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and you don't even have to be in pads. Somebody can pull something, but we're in a really good spot right now. The biggest issue I have right now is Noah DeHond. Noah has been out a little while, and he's had a little nerve thing, and they've done a couple nerve blocks, and it hasn't helped. So he's probably going to be done for the season because we're probably going to have to do a surgery on him, so that's probably our biggest issue, because he was a guy we were hopeful that could really take a good step forward. He's just a redshirt freshman. He's got a lot of football down the road, but hopefully, and I guess with the new rule, he could even get this year back. If you've been redshirted and then you lose a year due to injury, I think he could even get it back. So he's a guy that hopefully he's got a football in front of him, but was a guy that I was looking forward to getting some experience this year. He's a mountain of a man, but we got to get him healthy. Ben Batson, hopefully will be back. He's had a broken finger for like 4 weeks, so hopefully we'll get him back here, throwing a little bit more this week, and get him going here pretty soon. And Will Brown is a little receiver we've had that literally tore his hamstring like the 3rd day of camp and has been out the whole time. And so we're in pretty good shape as a team, and hopefully it'll stay that way.
Is Spires being pushed at all?
Go back first.
the conversation with Trevor in terms of, was it just like you're the guy, or was there some expectations?
Hey, we're going to start this week. Okay, Coach. Hey, man. Good luck. Proud of you. You earned it. You're good. Okay, Coach. Hey, man. Love up on Kelly. That's it. I mean, it was very simple. He's not a long, drawn-out conversation guy. But what was you asking? What was it?
Competitions. I was wondering if Spires is being pushed at all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Man, that's been a great battle. We weren't able to take Carson this week because we were hamstrung by our 72. You know, we had about 80 that we really wanted to take, but the 72s with our roster this year, 72's tight. We're leaving some good football players at home. And, I mean, we didn't even have Kendall or Jordan Williams, who's back, by the way. So we're excited to get him back going. But so, you know, we Potter was our next punter, and Renfro. Renfro can punt. That's one of the things that's people don't know it, but that's one of the things that's going to help him at the next level. He can punt. Renfro can, if he just did punting, he could do it. So that'll be one of the things that when the scouts see him, they're going to be like, holy cow. He's a unique kid, man. But so that was kind of how we handled that last week. But yeah, it's been good competition. It was great competition in camp, and then we kind of went got into the game weeks. And sometimes y'all see games, but you know everything. We track everything in practice, and we'll kind of separate it a little bit in practice. And you know he still has he's done fine, but there's still a lot more tank in there in the tank for Will. Had a good week last week. They had 1 return yard. It's a big challenge this week because this kid's really good. But Carson is not going away. He's at some point we want to get him some opportunity. We've had a couple games where we wanted to get him in there, but we didn't really have to punt. We punted one time, one game. So hopefully he'll get some opportunity on the field as well as we go.
You're talking about identity, and every program has an identity. When you took over as head coach in 2009 and you went about establishing that, was that a subconscious process or was that a conscious choice? Okay, I want to do this kind of offense, this kind of defense, this kind of team, and both personnel and schematics and all that stuff.
Subconscious. Does that mean I'm not really thinking it, but I'm thinking it? I'm not real sure.
Yes.
It was very much conscious. I may have seemed subconscious at times, but I was very conscious. My wife says I'm subconscious sometimes. I think I was conscious. I got a few moments I'd like to forget, unfortunately, but I was conscious.
You talked about streamlining communication on defense. Does that mean that you change your substitution patterns a little bit to make sure that the guys who are maybe the best or more experienced at getting calls and disseminating information, checks and that sort of thing, do you have to play those guys more snaps, or do you still delegate that responsibility to whoever's in the game?
Yeah, well, the coaches kind of handle that. I mean, there's times that I sub. I mean, I sub both sides. I'll sub offense. I'll sub defense. There's certain guys I want to see. You know, I'll sub special teams. But for the most part, the coaches manage that. But you have to, guys are going to have to play some more snaps depending on how they sub. Now, when they sub, then we have the opportunity to sub, and we have to take advantage of those opportunities when we feel like it's needed. And then other times you got to pick your spots. You know, maybe it's a play and the chains are moving, and you got a chance to get a guy in there. So they're not a bunch of multiple personnel. They're pretty much 11 personnel, 10 personnel, a little bit of 12. But those are predictable situations. They're not going to spend a lot of time at first down in 12 personnel against us. That's not how they're going to play. That's not who they are. So you have a pretty good base going in of, hey, these are the personnel groupings. These are the main two. And then you get situations, maybe it's third and longs where they probably going to sub, so you have an opportunity to sub, but we're going to have to do a great job matching them for sure.
Can you explain what Amari Rogers brings to the table and makes him so successful in the return game this year?
He's just tough, and he's committed. He's a grinder. He's one of the hardest workers we have on this team. He's incredibly committed to being great. He's got unbelievable practice habits. He's very cerebral, smart football player, and he's big and strong and fast. And he's just got he's a unique body type. He's hard to handle, man. He's explosive, very hard to press because he's so explosive and he's so strong. He's 215 pounds of gristle. I mean, he can motor. So he's had a really good 4 games for us, and I think he's got a bright future in this offense and beyond. Man, he's a dynamic player, and you'll see more from him as he continues to grow and mature.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thank y'all.